Hello again everyone, Carol from the Crafty Emporium. Whee. So I'm moving now to the other side of the concertina journal. So we're moving to where these really big pockets are, and you will need a pen and paper because I'm going to go through a few things. So I'm going to cover how I do this bag with tracing paper, but I'm going to talk to you about a couple of other things sort of relating to this as well. Okay, now then, you can just slot a piece of tracing paper straight into your printer and print it off. You will need to look at your own settings because I don't know what computer you're printing from. I don't know what printer you've got. I don't know what type of tracing paper you've got. So my basic knowledge I will share with you, which is you can bung the tracing paper into your printer and it will print out fine. All right. If it's not printing out fine, you will need to check your own settings. I can't help you with that one. Okay, so that's what I made this pocket with originally, was I just printed the image straight onto tracing paper, but I'll come back to that in a moment. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can print on straight onto glassine bags, but there are a couple of considerations and you will need to have a practice first to see whether it will work, because it doesn't always work. It depends on your printer again. All right, so if I wanted to print out, say, a smaller image of the page like this one, what I would need to do is, if there's a seam on the back of my bag, I need to make sure that that is face down. All right, and then I can hover over the actual image of the bit that I want to pick up. All right, now if I place that centrally so that this design is now central to the bag, can you see I've got this bit overhanging here? So I might have to consider chopping that off or tucking it behind. But what I would actually do is, once I've decided on the position of where I want that image to be, I would then, and in fact let me just chop that top bit off. So I'm going to just chop the whole flap a bit off. But as I say, it will depend on what you're photocopying, how big your bag is, whether it extends beyond the image, blah, 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 blah. It's all ifs, ands and maybes. So be prepared to have a play. Be prepared for the fact that it doesn't always work. Okay, let me just centralise it. Now I'm going to use my micropore, but you can use washi tape, a low-tack washi tape. They are low-tack full stop, aren't they, those things? And I'm going to just place this right on the edge of the bag. All right. Any bits that overhang, make sure that they're tucked in, because those are the bits that can prevent your printer going, oh no, I'm not picking that up. Because even printers have personalities. Okay, so I'm just going to put one on that side as well. Now, the more you can tape it down, the better. What you need to remember as well is where that tape is, where it is on the bag, when you put it through the printer, it's going to print on the tape. So when you peel the tape off, you're going to have a blank spot. Now, for me, when I put my card through my printer, this is the end that will end up going through my printer. All right, so this is the end that I need to make sure is taped down well, so that the rollers will pick up, because with it being sort of a bit flappy, the rollers might just go like, oh no, I'm not picking that up, love. More than my job's worth, that, you know. And they do it in a Yorkshire accent as well. It's amazing. And I'm just going to fold that round to the back. Okay, now I have tried it both ways in in that when I put it through my printer, I've tried it on just paper settings. So when I put my card in, it says, have you put in paper? And I go, yes, I've put in paper. And I've also tried it when it goes, have you put in paper? No, I've not put in paper, I've put in a glassine bag, but that's not on my list. So I then tried it on photos, as though I was printing onto a shiny photograph paper, so that it takes into consideration that this is a bit shiny. All right, so I've tried it all sorts of different ways. I would then put this into my printer and off I go. Now you need to work out which way your paper gets fed through your printer. Mine, I have to put mine in upside down and it comes through like that. All right, but you will need to test your own, and the way in which you can test it is put a piece of paper in, but put an X at one end of your paper, put it through, and you'll see whether it prints this end first or this end first, whether it prints on this side or whether it prints on that side first. Okay, so you will have to have a bit of trial and error and have a bit of a play. But going back to the job in hand, so this now, when I pop this through, we'll print this image again, but it will print it onto the glassine bag. And as if by magic, here's one I did earlier. Okay, so it's printed it straight onto the glassine bag. Now you need to leave it a fair while for the ink to dry, and again this will depend on your printer as to whether you've got a laser printer or an inkjet printer. Some of them take a little while to just dry off, and especially when you've got them on a shiny surface like this. Now, it might be that my rollers are dirty because I do so much printing, but if I hold this up close, I don't know whether you can see, but I've got lines on here. Now, I could go, do you know what? It's the nature of the beast. I've just got to accept that that's what it does. Or I can go, I don't want anything that imperfect. I want something that is more perfect. All right, but if I peel this off, so it's printed the image twice over here. If I peel this off carefully, I have now got the image. On my glassine bag, and I can actually place the glassine bag back, another glassine bag on there, and run that through again. I can run this through quite a few times. Let me just see if I can peel this off. Now as well, the other thing is the image doesn't run the whole length of the bag for me on this one. That. Let me turn that over and place that up there, so hopefully you can see that better now. But you can see, look, I've got a border here which is where the micropore was, and I've got this gap here which is where the image actually finished, and so it doesn't print to the end of the bag. But what I can do is I can place some lace trim on there. All right, so that's that way. Of course, the alternative is to just print it straight onto a piece of tracing paper and make your own bag from scratch, rather than actually using a glassine bag to print your image onto. Now then, I'm going to leave it at there for now because my friend Jayne has just arrived, and poor lass, she's had a bit of a horrendous journey. So have a little think about this part, about what you can do, and have a little bit of a play, and then I'll come back to you and show you how to make the bag out of tracing paper, and start to talk to you about the bits that are in the pocket, and also the next page, which is the waterfall. Okay, but have a little play with this bit first and see what you come up with, and see how your printer works. All right, have fun, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.